Yo, what's up, Frida? This today I'm gonna just perform one of my oldest models, and I'm gonna add some animations to it and post it on YouTube and Instagram. Also, don't forget to subscribe my channel and also follow me on Instagram. Let's So first of all, we need a cube, so press Shift A, go to Dimension, select the cube. The default size of it is okay and enough, I think, so we don't need to increase it. Then I need to just select the mesh and press Tab to go to the edit mode. Then I'm gonna choose the upper surface of it and press G and Z to move it down a bit. So that's enough. Then I'm gonna choose the upper surface again, press I to insert it, and then I press G and Z and move it out a bit. So we need another cube, so press Shift A, go to the mission, select another cube, here it is, then press S to scale it down, then just press S and Z to scale it in Z axis, and that's it. Then press G and Z to move it up. Select your mesh again, press Tab to go to the edit mode. We need some loop cuts. I think that we need 3 loop cuts and that suffices. That's enough. To select your loop cuts around the object, you need to press Alt and select all of the loop cuts around your mesh. But you guys, because you don't have the add-on, you need to press Shift and select all the loop cuts individually. And then press S and scale it down to make it deformed. No, I don't want it to be just like column. Then we add another cube and move it up to make the upper part of it. Press Tab, go to the edit mode and select these surfaces. Press I to insert it. Then select Alternate and choose the extract individual faces and make it just like this. And then we have this cube with extruded faces. Press Shift A, add another cube to make it head. Move it up and scale it down. Z axis, add another loop cut and just scale it out. We need to make kind of head shape on this cube, or no. We need to select the whole upper surface, make it smaller with pressing S. Then it's turn to just scale down the lower part of it. Again, scale it down, move it down again. So that's cool. Select the lower mesh and add some loop cuts. 8 is enough, so 8 of it must be in Y-axis and 8 of them must be in Z-axis. So that's enough. Then I'm gonna select some surfaces to extrude them in. Don't forget to press E to extrude. Add loop cuts again in this position, then press 1 and select these vertices. Select this one and press Shift and select the other one, and then just press J to join those vertices together. Select the central vertices and press G and Z to move them up. Do the same thing for the upper part too. Now just select another surfaces and then bring it to add some eyes to our blocks. So do the thing I'm doing. Then select some part of it and move them in random directions. So we don't need it to be symmetrical, and you can move it anywhere you want. Select the edges with pressing Alt and Select, and then press F to fill them. After that, you need to press E to extrude them in. Press Shift A, have the bezier here, then press R and Y to just rotate it in Y-axis, and after that, type 90 to turn it 90 degrees. Go to this part, open the Geometry tab, and just make your mesh thicker and increase the depth. So that's enough. Now duplicate your mesh and rotate it in the X-axis, and just go to the edit mode and edit it like me, and that's okay. Now you need to go to the object part and convert your curve to the mesh. Now go to the edit mode and select the loop of your edges and the other part too with pressing Alt and Select. Now do the same thing for the other part and press F to fill the gap between them. Then select the surface again, press I to insert it, and after that just go to the vertex part and right click and go to merge part and merge it at center. After that, press G and Z to move it up. Do the same thing for the other part. Just need to mention something: if this video takes a lot of time, I must divide it to 2 parts and post another part on another day, because I don't want the video to be more than maybe 7 or 15 minutes. So I will do that if I see that the video size is very high. Now we need to add something else, so I go to the mesh and add a cylinder and move it up. We don't want the subdivisions to be a lot, so we'll change it to maybe 10 vertices. And no, 12 vertices is much better. So then I just scale it down, move it up. Now I want to put it in the right place, and then I will go through editing this model. Go to the edit mode and do what I do. Select the lower face and scale it down. I just want it to be just like a glass, and or a cup. And then I need to add some loop cuts to it. One is enough. Then I scale it out to make it bigger, and then I will scale the upper loop again to make it much bigger. Let's just select the upper face to move it down to make kind of vase shape, or yeah. And then add E and extrude out another surface and press I to insert it in. Press E and Z to extrude it in. Now it's like a vase, and that's it. I'm gonna add the chain, so I will choose the curve, then scale it down, press R, Z, and 90 to rotate it, and then move it up to find its place. Then I just wanted to go to edit mode and change the shape of it. You will understand why, because I just want to make a chain in here and make some cloth around it. Now to make our chain, press Shift A, go to the mesh and select torus, and then just edit the default settings of it. Let it be like this, and just scale down the torus and move it up. Then go and do that again, scale it down, move it up. Just scale it and make this a chain shape. Scale in y-axis and x-axis, any axis that you want, and just make kind of chain shape. Now I'm gonna duplicate the shape and press R and X and 90 to rotate it to make it much more like a chain. Select both of the chain parts and press Ctrl J to join them together, and then in modifier parts go and select the array modifier. Just edit it like what I do, and just increase the number of array to get more chains. After that, apply it. I want to set the origin. I just do right click, then go to the set origin and just select the second one, and then I just selected my origin. Then again go to the modifier part and choose curve, and just choose the laser curve that you've made. Then you can see this shape. Then you can just press G and press X to just move it and set your chain as you want. Now duplicate the chain and do the same thing for the other part too. To add the cloth, you need to press Shift A, go to the mesh and select the plane, then press R and X and 90 to rotate it. Then scale it down, move it out and place it next to the chain. Then scale it in Z-axis and then scale it down to make it smaller. Just fit it with your chain. You need to scale it and move it to make it closer to the chain. But now you need to add some loop cuts. 2, 3 is enough, and then select those loops and scale down the loops one by one. For example, first this one and then this one. make it thinner and make the lower part thicker. Now choose each loop and press G and Y to move it in y-axis and to make it like paper or something, and that's enough. That's cool. And now press R and rotate it, and yeah, it's like a paper right now. And just add another loop cut. 4 is enough, and to each part of it you need to add not 6, 2 is enough. Add 2 loop cuts to each part again. Now we need to delete some of the faces to make it kind of torn paper, and then we're gonna just set it to be much better. Select some of the vertices here and move them with G to reform it, and yeah, just move it in a way that you want. I think that this is good and enough for it, and I just move it like this. Go to the modifiers and select solidify, and just now you can see that it's more thicker, and can see that it is kind of solid object, not just a paper or flat thing. Then move it and place it next to the chain, and do it for the next part as the same. Duplicate it, press RZ and 180, and then move it in y-axis to place it next to another chain. Now press Shift A, go to the mesh and select the cylinder and move it up and rotate it in y-axis and scale it down to place it next to the paper and chain. Now scale it in x-axis and just again scale it down to make the cylinder much more longer. Add another loop cuts to it, because we're gonna just edit some parts thicker and some parts thinner. Add 3 loop cuts, so 3 loop cuts are enough. Then just scale some of them down, all of them. Scale it down, and the other part scale it down more, but the other one not that much more. And then you will have this shape, and duplicate it and move it with G and place it next to the other paper. Now we need to add some bolts. Per Shift A, go to the mesh and select the bolt, then scale it down and rotate it in x-axis or y-axis, not different. Then just move it down and scale it down, place it here, and then you need to go to the modifiers and select the mirror modifier. Then you need to give our object to this modifier, and then you will have this shape. So as you see that it is kind of mirroring the bolt around the mesh. Now I'm gonna duplicate our bolts and press R and 90 to rotate it. Then I will put it here, not here, sorry, move it up and just place it around the cube. I'm gonna make it symmetric, so just play with it and just move it in y-axis. Now scale it out between Z and x-axis, not y-axis, and just move it down. Then you will have this shape, and that's it. Don't forget to hit the bell and subscribe me. In the next video, I'm gonna give some textures to it, so it's gonna be part 2, texturing part, and yeah, share my channel with your friends, and goodbye.